most famous celebrities of the 20th and now 21st centuries were and are being used to teach and reshape the moral compass of the world in preparation for the new age under the Antichrist. God forbids contact with the dead and condemns those who engage in such practices.
Be very careful not to imitate the detestable customs. For example, do not let your people practice fortune-telling or sorcery, or allow them to interpret omen or engage in witchcraft, or cast spells, or function as mediums or psychics, or call forth the spirits of the dead. Anyone who does these things is an object of horror and disgust to the Lord.
God's word warns that astrology will not save in the day of judgment.
Disaster will come upon you, and you will not know how to conjure it away. Let your astrologers come forward, those stargazers who make predictions month by month. Let them save you from what is coming upon you. Surely they are like stubble. The fire will burn them up. They cannot even save themselves from the power of the flame.
Satan is called the father of lies in the Bible, and he revels in encouraging others to speak lies and deceptions, and oftentimes works through humor in order to disarm us.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, I come from 6 feet under with a dead guy on my knee. I'm heading down to Hades for to spend eternity.
The sitcom Roseanne, starring the woman by the same name, was the nerve center for anti-Christian sentiment in the 1990s.
Even worse than you thought.
Well, what kind of crowd? He's not doing drugs, is he?
No, no. He's going to church.
Oh, God, no.
In her autobiography, My Lives, she spoke of leaving her body and communicating with voices from unseen beings.
When I went away, I left my body completely and could hear other voices all around me chattering about how God would make me strong and how nobody could really get me. A spiritual message, really.
The voices that she heard were not from the God of the Bible.
The Ouija board wasn't sending me a message from the dead.
She has engaged in automatic writing. Roseanne writes of her channeling.
It would all just come pouring out as if I were in a trance, and not until I reread it did I know what it was about. Sometimes it would scare me to read it because it seemed to belong to another place and time, and I would wonder, where did I get this?
These demonic influences used Roseanne like a puppet to usher society into Crowley's New Age philosophies through her shows.
Oh my God!
It's not hard to connect the dots and see the common denominators that have worked through the lives of the Hollywood elite.
Well, I've been an admirer of Aleister Crowley. I think that I'm carrying on much of the work that he started over 100 years ago, and I think the 60s themselves. You know, Crowley said, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law."
As goddaughter of Timothy Leary, America's drug guru of the 1960s, Winona Ryder is familiar with moving people through enchantment. At her best, which is considerable, Ryder can light up a screen with the skill of a sorceress. So writes Rolling Stone magazine of Winona Ryder, crediting her spirit guide for her cinematic exhibitions. Ryder states, "My grandmother is still alive and has a lot of letters and pictures of relatives, and there's this one particular relative who was my age when she died. She was a violinist and an actor, and she looked like me. I have had this feeling for the last 8 years that she was there guiding me and helping me with my performances." Vin Diesel also seeks contact with the supernatural, having stated, "I'm going to do my best to channel the character on a spiritual level." Golden Globe and Oscar award-winning Halle Berry also has spirit guides that empower her performances to be more convincing and alluring.
Oh.
Berry told Oprah how she was empowered to win her Golden Globe Award for her part in Dorothy Dandridge. Berry said, "There were many moments on the set when a sort of strange aura sort of took over, and not only me, but other people would say, they'd come up to me and they would say, 'She's with you today, I feel it.' And I often thought her spirit showed up to say thank you and to guide me."
As you honor me, who you really honor is the eminent Dorothy Dandridge.
Oftentimes the most innocent can be the most dangerous and deceptive. Oprah Winfrey will never let her tens of millions plus fan base know that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, but regularly presents New Age deceptions and lies on her shows, which are transmitted to housewives and families around the globe. Her influence with her magazine, TV channel, and book club are staggering. Where does she obtain direction for her shows and enterprises? Time magazine gives us a frightening answer. Oprah Winfrey calls these her go-there moments. It is during these moments, usually while jogging the winding trails on her Indiana farm, that Winfrey becomes overwhelmed by the sense that old spirits are trying to get in touch with her. And it is during these moments that the woman who loves to talk stops dead in her tracks simply to listen. Winfrey says she has come to know each of them personally and calls them in at will to guide her in her work. Jesus made it clear when he said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me." Having endorsed on-screen homosexuality, spiritism, sexual immorality, and violence, to list a few, Leonardo DiCaprio believes himself to be a vessel put on earth for acting. Vessels are meant to be filled, and DiCaprio has opened himself up to evil spirits for this purpose. As Agnieszka Holland, DiCaprio's director in Total Eclipse, explains it, Leo's like a medium. He opens his body and his mind to receive messages coming from another person's life.
He's the new Leonardo DiCaprio. There's nobody like him, and he's like nobody. He's so special. He's a chameleon. He can do anything. It's shocking. I mean, he was just born to be an actor. It's the same way with Meryl. You see this, and you're dazzled by their talent.
DiCaprio's director, Baz Luhrmann, stated that with Leo, you might see 30 people come out of him in a day.
You put it out there, and hopefully they get it. And I always like to think of it as like, I've got them sitting there, whip a little message at them, whip a little moral at them, whip a little of what my view of the world is, because that's what every good filmmaker does. And we'll lead the world into the 21st century, and I'll make a profit on their backs.
This constant barrage of TV propaganda has left an indelible impression on the youth of the world. In accord with Aleister Crowley's mandate for an army of youth whereby he could control the world, the demon-possessed and master propagandist Adolf Hitler declared that film was to be used for the education of the youth. Propaganda, also called mind-raping by the Nazis, was aimed at brainwashing the youth and was so powerful that Hitler once bragged they will never again be free for the rest of their lives.
Und wir möchten nun, dass ihr, deutsche Jungen und deutsche Mädchen,
Adolf Hitler opportunistically set the campaign for his occult agenda in motion by indoctrinating children at a very early age. In order to completely own the minds of the children, he created the Youth Film Hours, where it was mandatory to watch movie after movie that painted the Nazis in a positive light. These Youth Film Hours were so successful that they even replaced Sunday school. He outlined, "My program for educating youth is hard. Weakness must be hammered away. In my castles of the Teutonic Order, a youth will grow up before which the world will tremble. I want a brutal, domineering, fearless, cruel youth. Youth must be all that. It must bear pain. There must be nothing gentle about it. The free, splendid beast of prey must once again flash from his eyes. That is how I will eradicate thousands of years of human domestication. That is how I will create the new order." Coincidentally, the last troops to hold out against Allied forces in Berlin, Germany were armies comprised of the youth. Joseph Goebbels, a minister of enlightenment and propaganda, had clear objectives for the Nazi filmmakers. "I kept impressing my people with one basic truth. Repeat everything until the last, most stupid person has understood." How many movies and shows really say the same things over and over in different ways to us? That you can live as you want, be it free sex, drugs, exalting yourself above others. That life's problems can be worked out without God, or that there is no God.
Don't talk about right and wrong with me, man, because I just don't give a
It's easy to condemn the Nazi regime as barbaric, yet we are being duped in the same ways as they were by a regime that rejects God and exalts immorality.
It was and is America's first form of sex education.
Got it.
Want to make love to me?
Oh, yes.
You leave your life outside the theater, go into that dark room, and it draws you closer to the person on screen.
Don't stop. Let's do it.
Get on your knees.
There is a gorgeous woman on my bed.
You guys are gonna aren't you?
You have someone like that who's very sexually open, in fact, open.
I'm a horny girl, what can I say?
You like a little freedom or something? You want to dabble? We can all. You know, we can all have sex together. I am doing what I feel like doing.
Well, what do you feel like doing?
Orgy! Have an orgy! Orgy!
It never occurred to me that we could have sex with multiple people together, and that like it would be okay.
Hollywood learned the basic lesson: when in doubt, go to sex.
People have this mistaken notion that the Hollywood system has principles, morals, or values. It doesn't.
It doesn't.
I probably spent a month with hookers and pimps.
A prostitute is a woman who will give you a great deal for relatively little money.